Vladimir Putin has ordered part of his nuclear forces to be on enhanced combat duty in an alarming escalation of tensions. The command came after many missiles landed in a built-up civilian area of Kharkiv, killing dozens of people. At the same time as the violence was escalating, a Ukrainian and Russian delegation were sitting down on the Belarusian border for negotiations. It came after the UK Defence Secretary warned the Russian invasion of Ukraine was likely to become more violent as Putin's army falls behind schedule. This morning it was announced that 4,500 Russian soldiers had died and 16 Ukrainian children killed during the invasion so far. The grim news comes as The Mirror's reporter Andy Lines and photographer Andrew Stenning are on the ground in Ukraine. Ukrainian schoolgirl killed along with parents in family car by Russian saboteurs. A Ukrainian schoolgirl killed alongside her parents as Russian saboteurs attacked their family car has been pictured. Polina, a fourth-grade pupil, from Kyiv, was traveling in the car with her family and her brother and sister when they came under fire from a Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group. In her last year of primary school, she is tragically among at least 14 children who are said to have been killed since Russia invaded Ukraine on Thursday. Kyiv's deputy mayor Volodymyr Bondarenko said in a Facebook post that her brother is receiving treatment at Okhmatyt Children's Hospital. Shot children among remaining few treated at Kyiv Hospital. In the dingy basement of Okhmatyt Children's Hospital in Kyiv, mothers and babies find what comfort they can on makeshift beds and blankets laid out on either side of the concrete aisle, Reuters reports. Older children who are too sick to go home or flee the capital with their families following Russia's invasion of Ukraine are also adjusting to life under siege, staying away from windows and lying in corridors on intravenous drips. Staff, patients and their families share Ukrainians' sense of shock at being caught in a conflict few could have foreseen even a few days ago. Like others, their immediate focus is on survival. These are patients who cannot receive medical treatment at home, they cannot survive without medication, without medical treatment and medical workers, Chief Surgeon Volodymyr Jovnir told reporters on Monday. The biggest hospital of its kind in the country, Okhmatyt normally has up to 600 patients, but that number is now around 200, he said during a media visit to the state-run clinic in central Kyiv organized by the government. In a surgical ward, surgeons and nurses operated on a 13-year-old boy brought in by an ambulance after being wounded in the armed clashes. So far 4 children have been treated for shrapnel and bullet wounds, victims of shelling in and around Kyiv and skirmishes between Russian and Ukrainian forces. One remains in serious condition. Among the mothers at the hospital is Marina, whose 9-year-old son suffers from a blood cancer that requires regular treatment. Earlier on Monday, air raid sirens wailed across the largely empty streets of Kyiv warning of another possible missile attack by Russia, which calls its actions in Ukraine a special operation. There are bombings, sirens, we have to go downstairs, said Marina. We also receive treatment here, medications we have, but we need more food. Basic stuff, she added, holding back tears as she spoke. UK government might go after law firms protecting Russian oligarchs. Downing Street suggested law firms seeking to protect Russian oligarchs from sanctions could themselves be targeted with strict measures. We will certainly keep all options under review, the Prime Minister's official spokesman said. This is an incredibly serious situation and we want to take all possible steps to ratchet up the pressure on Putin and his regime to get him to step back from this path. individuals or businesses that are seeking to facilitate that regime and Putin's actions, to continue down this path of violence, we think should step back from that as well. The spokesman said it was not helpful to name individual businesses, but clearly I think it's important everyone thinks carefully about how they may be, even inadvertently, supporting a country or a regime which has invaded another democratic country. Most of Ukrainian civilian fatalities due to indiscriminate weapons. UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet has said that at least 102 civilians, probably more, have been killed in Ukraine. The majority of those likely died due to explosive weapons with high impact areas. The worst attack of this sort seen so far was endured in Kharkiv this morning. Most of these civilians were killed by explosive weapons with a wide impact area, including shelling from heavy artillery and multi-launch rocket systems, and air strikes, Bachelet said. The real figures are, I fear, considerably higher.